What is up, guys? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight is another episode of Comic Collector Origins. We are on season 2, episode 11. Just moving and grooving here on this fine Wednesday, new comic book day evening. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome in for those who are here live right now. We appreciate you always tuning into the show, and for those who catch the replay, I appreciate you as well for taking the time to do so. I talk about it all the time, but this show has really been a life changer for me, and just meeting a lot of new people I've never met before, or people I've gotten to know over the last few years through Instagram, through YouTube, and just learning about their origin story and what got them into collecting comics and reading comics and everything in between. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's a lot. It all has to do with the viewers and the people, the guests that I have on here. So I appreciate everybody's support. Smash that like button if you haven't already. I do appreciate that. That does help out the channel. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. I've been doing a lot more content, especially the shorter clips, the YouTube shorts that I've been putting out. So it's been a lot of fun doing that. And of course, I do a ton of content over on Instagram. So if you guys don't follow me over there, No Good Comics on Instagram, doing a lot over there as well. Couple things I want to just remind everybody of before we get into tonight's episode. This upcoming Saturday, I can't believe we're already towards the end of March here. This upcoming Saturday is a Comic-Con locally here in New Jersey. If you guys are around, it is King Con. It's with a K, K-O-N, so King Con. And it's run by my buddy Greg, MTG Greg, and a few other people. And there's going to be a ton of community members that are there. It's one of the best shows I go to each and every year. It is certainly, as they say, for the community, by the community. A lot of the vendors there are, friends and connections that I've made throughout the years, and just vendors and people that have, always been good as far as, just selling comics and hooking you up and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. That's going to be this Saturday. And then next Saturday, my LCS Zap Comics is going to have their ZapCon Comic-Con. That's going to be on the 29th from 10 to 6. And I'll actually have a table set up there as I did last year. So not selling anything. I don't typically sell anything. I'm just there to, I guess, kind of represent myself as No Good Comics. And, last year I had a lot of people stop by the booth, and I had a little jar you could pick out of a piece of paper out of the jar, and it would have a question on it, like, what do you like to collect, or what advice would you give to, a new collector, things like that. I would film and have, people kind of answer those questions right then and there, and we'll just talk comics essentially. So that's what I'm there for, and also to support my local comic shop. So if you guys don't know Zap Comics, definitely go check them out. They have a great team, great store, great prices, and great books, everything. And this is just a really fun, family focused Comic-Con that they hold every year now. So, looking forward to that. That'll be the 29th of this month coming up. So if you're around in the Wayne, New Jersey area, stop on by. It'll be a good time, and I'll be set up there. So, I think, one last thing too, next Wednesday, me and my buddy John from John's Comics with Kids, we are doing another breakdown, not of X-Men, believe it or not. Normally we have Tuesday night X-Men. We're going to actually take off next Tuesday for Omni X-Men. We had our episode last night. If you missed it, we're actually going to be breaking down the early 2003 Black Panther by Hudlin, I think is his name, the writer. And that's the story arc with T'Challa and Storm getting married, the two of them. So if you guys are interested, we're breaking down kind of the first 18 issues of that. So that'll be next Wednesday here on this channel, 9 o'clock Eastern. So a little change in schedule, but still a lot going on. So hopefully you guys can make it if you've read it before. If you want to join in on the fun, certainly can do that. So without a further ado, I have an awesome guest tonight. And somebody who I'm trying to think the last time, he and I just feel like we've been talking a lot in the last, 6 months to potentially a year or so where we've really been connecting. And I'll tell you, this guy, who if you've seen the thumbnail, you already know who I'm talking about. He's just been an amazing community member, comic book community member, both here on YouTube and on Instagram. Just so supportive as far as, watching other people's shows, diving into the commentary and the comment sections, and for me personally, just a great person to bounce ideas on and talk comics with, and somebody who certainly is not afraid to jump into something brand new or something he hasn't read before, based on recommendation, and and he finds out he loves it. I love that because that's how I am. I'm very much always looking for that next great comic book to read, and not only that, but also talk about it with friends. So he's just been a great guy all around. I'm really excited to have him. So of course I am talking about my good friend Matt, aka Matt in Clemson. Matt, what's up, dude?
How are you tonight, Justin?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Cool. I appreciate you coming on board here with me for the show.
Thanks for having me. Like I told you in the backstage, I'm gonna keep talking probably until you tell me to stop. So
I love it.
Anything I can throw out here, I'm gonna throw out here.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Here, I like everything connected with our community. It's something that I don't have here. There's no real local shop here. There's no community here. I have one friend in my life that I can talk comic books with. My best friend lives in Louisiana, so he's 11 hours away from me, and I'll see him a couple of times a year when I go out there for work. And other than that, a little over a year ago, I found you guys, and that was it. That was what I needed. I just love talking about it. I like positivity. I don't have any room for drama, any room for anything like that. I like to build everybody up that I possibly can. Yep. And I just love being around it. You guys are great.
Well said, man. Well said. And I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, absolutely, dude. The community's been amazing. And for anybody, as you mentioned, who didn't, who doesn't have a lot of people kind of around that are into this stuff, it's a great way to, make connections and find folks that are, very much in love with the same, comics that we are. So, yeah, good stuff, man. And again, for those watching, whether you're here right now live or if you are watching the replay, if you guys are not following Matt, make sure you do so. I put his information in the description below. You can find his Instagram account there. Certainly hit him up over there. Talk comics with Matt. And Matt, I know we've talked a little bit on other people's YouTube channels about you potentially, what's your plan for YouTube and stuff like that. And I'm sure, we could go more into it later, but for anyone who maybe recognizes you from somewhere else, I'm happy that you've, kind of dove into just being on other people's channels and kind of going about it that way.
So I'm all for it. I like it. Any conversation I can have about it, I'm in for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's say a quick hello to the chat before we dive into the Origins Q&A. See my man John from John's Comics with Kids just talking about him. Good to see you, John. Evening. And we got Brother John, 2 Johns in the house tonight. What's going on, Brother John? Hope all is well. Matt playing double duty in the chat and on the screen. Gotta love it. We got our good friend Candace Barbosa in the chat as well. What's going on, Candace? Let's see. Scrolling, seeing everybody saying hi. We got my man Joel the Geek in the chat. What is going on, Joel? Hope all is well, my friend. Let's see. Yes, station. All right. I think everybody else saying hi to each other. Appreciate everybody's support. Matt, let's dive in, man. First and foremost, I got to just start off with kind of where the origin started for you. Where did you first come across comic books, whether, just from a reading perspective or artwork perspective or whatever angle it was for you, and how old were you? What time of your life were you doing all this?
So this is it's very weird. I graduated high school in 1996.
Okay.
Started working night shift immediately in 97. And I ended up meeting a real good friend, and he was coming from a background where he was part of a small publishing group that had created their own comic books. They did 2 comics. I had read it, and that hooked me hard right then. So I got in real big into the 90s for, Death of Superman, Red Blue Superman will return, that kind of stuff. So that's where I really started rolling hard and got into it. That was the case until probably maybe 01, 02. And then I just hung it up, put the boxes in the closet, never paid attention to much anything else. Got married in 05. And when we ended up moving, wife and I did to Louisiana for a few years. And I just gave the short boxes to my nephew, the oldest nephew, and said, here, just do whatever you want with them and that kind of thing. And then it's actually little over a year ago. I was back in Louisiana with my friend Philip over there, and we went to this little shop that's in town in Ruston, Louisiana, and they had a dollar bin, and there was a couple of GI Joe books in there, and that just took me right back to 1984, and growing up and getting all these toys. We didn't have any money when I grew up. I didn't know that we didn't until I was in high school and that kind of thing. So the fact my mom would work as hard as she did so she could get me these Transformers and GI Joes from little places, TGNY and Roses and places like that up here, and that kind of stuff. When I touched that first book, the GI Joe Special Missions number 21, I think it was, and I was like, you know what, I could do this. And fast forward to now, and man, did it blow up quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. And he had my friend Philip out there. He had thousands and thousands and thousands of books, and they were just boxed up. I think he had kind of just was keeping them, obviously, but hadn't touched them in a while. And we sort of ignited the fire for both of us, for better or for worse, whatever. I'm going to say for better.
Right.
And I went over there, and he would just pull books out, and he was just looking. There were all these books that I had never seen, and just all these issues that I had never seen. So I'm sitting there taking picture after picture after picture, like, I need this book, I need this book, I need this one. And he's been a wealth of knowledge of saying, who wrote this, who is this writer, who is this, and so that was kind of where I started, and what lit the flame.
Wow. So for you to be diving right back in, only, like you mentioned, a little over a year, right? A little over a year.
Yeah, started last year.
That's amazing, man. And that's, so basically you gave all your comics away to your nephew, right? So
I took them back. I got him.
You got him. Okay. So he kept them. I mean, he kept them in.
He never even opened a box for 12, 14 years, whatever it was. Never. They were just in the closet, never touched them. So
okay.
Came back, and they all were exactly as I'd left it. There wasn't anything super valuable. There was a handful of my brother's books. He's 9 years older than I am. So
okay.
There were several books from the 70s and early 80s and stuff like that that were in there, but nothing. There was no GSX-1, none of that kind of stuff.
Right. I mean, it must have been nostalgic, right, for you to kind of flip back through some of that stuff.
Absolutely, and talk about inside. I do that almost daily. I'll open up one of these drawers, and I'm going to look at something, and it's gotten to the point now that I don't want any books that don't excite me every time I look, and I want it to be, an entire short box of it, and if it's okay, then it's probably time for it to go. I want something that I connect with instantly. I've got a memory. I've got some kind of story. I've got it could be how much I love it. It could be where I found it, what I paid for it, who gave it to me, any of that kind of stuff. It's just got to have some kind of connection now.
That's awesome, man. And I love that. I mean, it definitely, I mean, obviously the story is one thing, the artwork is another. But even when you can create that extra story that kind of makes it your own, or the way you got it, or who gifted it to you, or whatever, I very much in the same way. And I even, been adding little notes on the back of sticky notes that I kind of keep with some of those books now, just to, keep that memory. So
absolutely.
That's very cool. Quick hello in the chat. I saw Adam make stuff up. What's going on, Adam? Good to see you, my friend. And John said, we all go through phases, totally fell back into this hobby many times. Yeah. So, wanted to, see, Candace said, me too. It also helps when I finally had adult money to buy things. Yeah, that's a great point.
For sure.
Yeah, game changer in a lot of different hobbies I know that I've been in. Now that I'm able to, do that a bit more often. Joel also says, I am the same. If there is no longer a connection, it will not stay in my collection. Yeah, I mean, that's a great, and look, I mean, it's cool that you're even giving certain things a shot. I know some people will just dismiss it straight up for various reasons, but if you're at least giving it a shot, whatever it is, before you make that.
Well, and I don't know how long ago it was that you were on Brandon's channel for his Big Five Live, and you brought up Tom Taylor, and it was the Nightwing run, but Tom Taylor in general. And I was like, you know what, this guy Justin, I like him on the show, so let me take a chance. Yeah. And you made the statement in there. If you take that chance, you will not be disappointed. You're not wrong. It's fantastic. And now it's go buy every back issue that I can of Tom Taylor, jump over to Detective Comics now and keep following him wherever he's going. And
I love it.
And it's all the way up to I finally have. So I'm just going to go on a long ramble.
Let me hear it.
A couple of weeks ago, my wife, she decides that she's going to go to the library
Yeah.
and she's going to go get a library card. I'm like, okay, that's great. Have a good time. I'll see you when you get back. And she ended up coming back, and later that night, she was telling me about this app that was tied to our library. All you got to do is just enter your free library card number, and you get access to this app. She's like, "Oh, there's comic books on here," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's cute. I'm sure there's probably a comic book on there." And she let me see it. I looked at it, and it's the Hoopla app. And I looked through it, and I was like, "My gosh, it is fantastic." And 2 days later, I go to the library for the first time in 30 or 35 years or whatever and get my library card. And I have been, I read, I know you joined Kate's book club.
Yeah.
And so I'm in there. And so I got to read Hush on through there, and it was free, didn't cost me anything.
Amazing.
I'm reading the Hickman run of X-Men that I've never read yet.
Oh, nice. You're diving in. Nice.
They've got all the Invincible omnibuses on there. I've never read it, always wanted to, but don't want to pay all the money. So
yeah,
it's changed a lot for me. So I tell everybody that I can, go get you a free library card, get on this app, and you can read so many things, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, it's a great way to support them too. I mean, just your local library, you're telling other people obviously to do the same. I laugh because and shout out to my friends Kelly and Sheena, if you are ever watching this. They've always for the however long I've known Kelly and Sheena for 3-4 years now, always trying to get me to use Hoopla. And I always joke and say, what is that? Is that a fruit? What is that? It sounds like a tasty fruit. And so, but they swear up and down, and they've, told a ton of people about Hoopla and just how great it is, as far as for the exact reasons that you named. So I never
want to borrow books from anybody. I'm not, I mean, even the library or anything like that. When we were kids, told you we didn't have anything. So when we borrowed something from somebody, if we borrowed a tool, we had to clean it up, oil it up, and make it as close to brand new as it could be when we took it back to whoever let us borrow it. And that's ingrained in my head, and it's a lot of work. And like, if I get a dirty library book, I don't really want to feel like I need to make it look better before I send it back. But doing digital, man, I can zip right through it. And now it's cut down on sleep a lot, because sometimes I just can't get past that cliffhanger. I need to read the next one.
Yes, you got to go to the next. Yeah. How do you feel? This is totally off. Well, it's part of this topic, but off topic of the origin. But how do you feel about reading digitally? I mean, I
thought I was going to hate it. Okay. And up until about 10 days ago, I thought, there is no way in the world I'm going to do this ever. Because I've got a regular size phone. It's nothing huge. I don't have this flip phone, and I don't have a tablet. I don't have an iPad. I don't have any of that stuff around. So it's like, it's not going to work. It's going to be too small. And then you get on Hoopla, and you can blow it up panel by panel. So I don't have to constantly zoom and do all that. I'm in.
That makes me so happy, man. I'm such a digital reader. I'm such a fan of it, and especially like the panel to panel features and things like that. And look, I get. This is why I asked, because you were collecting as a kid, and you've gone through the years, and so I know some people are very attached to the way they read comics back in the day, and that's the only way, that's the right way, or whatever. And I never grew up with comics. I grew up around comics because of my dad, but I was not into them by choice. And so I never got that nostalgic vibe of, memories of physically reading, books like that, or comics in this case.
That amazes me too. Your story amazes me. I understand it. I understand it completely, but it's still, sometimes the thought pops in my head of, man, I am glad it finally clicked for you.
Right. So yeah, just like for me, reading digitally, I can go on and on about how all the different reasons why I like it, but I'm happy to hear that you're very much open to it, and the fact that it's just been a handful of days that you really kind of opened up to it. So I'm curious where that takes you from here, as far as just using that, plus maybe get into other platforms down the road. I know Marvel Unlimited is a fantastic app.
That's next on my list. Yeah, I've actually I've nixed almost all of my pull lists for the new Marvel stuff, and just decided just to do that. There's nothing I really want to collect out of it, but I want to read it.
Sure.
So I'll go jump to it, and I'll catch up with it. Later on this year.
That's perfect, man. Yeah, as long as you're okay with not getting it that week or whatever. I think it's like a 3 or 6.
I don't have a local shop that I can go to that I can really depend on here. I do mail order, so I'm DCBS every month. So I wait for my books anyway. So it's not a big thing.
Yeah, no, it's that makes sense. A couple things in the chat here. My man Rod the Rican, what's going on, Rod? Hope all is well. Let's see. John was talking, we were talking about money. He said, I'm waiting to have that lady no good money. She's the big winner. She is the big winner. We just had a really successful weekend at some casinos. So yeah, good call there, John. Candace saying, yes, I want to be like her. Joel says, love that app. I use that app to read things I don't want to own, but want to read it. Yeah, that's another great. It doesn't take up any space. And if you don't like it, then you never have to worry about it being in your collection again. So it's a great set of points. Candace said, yeah, I was thinking of Kelly and Sheena when he said Hoopla. I've gotten trades from the library before. Yeah. Oh, that's true too. Even if you actually go,
how much our little local library, that's a nothing backwoods library, you walk through, and I took pictures, and there's shelves and shelves and shelves of trade paperbacks and a couple of random omnibus books just out of the blue. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, she said one of my shops even gets $5 trades from the library. That's cool. Really cool. She said my favorite part of digital is the jump scares. Yeah, that's true. When you're reading the panel,
unless it's close to 2 a.m. and you're usually about half asleep and she's very asleep next to you,
and then you shake.
Yeah, it's like, all right, maybe it is time for bed.
I love it. That's fantastic. I like reading both, but digital is a great way. Yeah. Also, I mean, for me, the travel, being able to take it with me to work. I don't have to worry about, carrying lots of physical books with me, things like that. Yeah. John said the Marvel Unlimited app is well worth the price. Yeah, agreed.
It looks like it.
Yeah, sure. It's not that bad price wise. And Candace agrees too. I got it this season for Omni X-Men since they weren't selling the Omni on Comixology. Oh yeah, that's right. So there you go. So Matt, I got to go back for a sec here because you had mentioned Tom Taylor, and I love that I love that you fell into it and loved it and so much that you went back and bought everything else and are continuing to read Tom Taylor into the future.
The second drawer of Optimus's chest is your fault.
Yeah,
it's your fault, not mine.
It's so funny because when that first came out, I was very much the way I am now with it, where I like me and some friends would always make jokes that like they'd be like, yeah, Justin is basically that guy in an alleyway with a trench coat, and he's holding out, like a bunch of that book, just Nightwing 78 or whatever. So like, I was always a fan of that. Obviously, just like changed the game for me, and I wasn't even reading DC at that time. So I think that's another thing. What's
really cool is to find someone and even more than one person that you can trust their taste, because it kind of aligns with the writing that you like. I can't think of a recommendation that somebody's ever given me that I didn't get something out of and that I didn't continue to want to learn more and read more about. So that's
right.
The group of people that we have is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great point. So now going back into you got back into comics, you come back home. It's a year and a half ago. And how did you go about, like, in those early few weeks? Were you looking for LCSs? Where I know you said you don't really have one local to you, but were you shopping online or what?
We did have one that's about 7 or 8 minutes from here, and it ended up closing because there wasn't enough support. Right. So I found them, fell in love there. Everything was great. And then in April of last year, all of a sudden they weren't getting their books like they should have. So my pull list wasn't getting filled. And then they weren't open one day when they were supposed to be open. And then they were. And then now the normal people aren't there anymore. And then we rode by one day and there was a note on the door that said they were closed permanently. So that was it. There's another one that's probably 30 or 35 minutes from here. And the whole part of the end of last year was going there and constantly being disappointed. Just the people don't care if you show up. The store's a mess. There's no organization, and I don't know. I never felt good when I left, and that 35-minute drive back home wasn't ever satisfying. So I was like, you know what? I can wait once a month to get my shipment. That's gonna be fine. But a lot of that, everything else was instantly diving online and trying to figure out, what do I like? I know I like the basics. I like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Flash. You name it, I pretty much like it. But what do I really like? What gets me hooked? And that was it. Just the dive into what's out there, and then constantly combing YouTube and finding that there is a section of comic book community that I don't like. at
Mm,
the start of last year. I mean, there's a lot of clickbait and all that kind of stuff, and I knew instantly what I didn't want as I
sure.
was looking for what I found, and
Yeah.
that was how it all got started a little bit then.
That's a great point. I mean, there's definitely, I mean, I think there's something out there for everyone for sure. And there's a lot of stuff that's not for me either. And it's just about kind of, finding the right group or the right, so yeah, like you said earlier, just the same tastes, the same interests, and kind of going about it that way, the same goals.
And
And
I like to be around people with different tastes. I like to not agree with someone, and I
sure.
like for someone to not agree with me, but for us to be okay with it. And
Yeah, that's the biggest
still,
thing.
understand, well, why do you like this? I like it because of this. Oh, I never thought of that. Or, oh,
Right.
yeah, I thought of that. It's just not for me, but I'm glad you enjoy it. Because in any aspect of my life, I only want to be around people who are enjoying whatever we're taking part of. For anybody else who doesn't know, I grew up building cars. I've been building cars since I was 8 years old.
Mm,
That's what my dad and I did out of necessity because he didn't have the money to work on anything when I was growing up.
right.
So I built a lot of nice cars and sold a lot of nice cars and that kind of thing. And that community is a cesspool of whatever you want to insert this adjective right here around here. They are very turn their nose up at different things. So our
Mm,
cars were all muscle cars, that kind of stuff. But now you
right.
got these younger generations that they don't care about that. They want to do, their Hondas and everything from Fast and Furious and like it. And I just got sick and tired of everybody putting everybody down. They put as much work into their stuff as I did in mine. So how can
Yeah.
I, let's appreciate everything. And so that's come across with baseball cards. That's been a big thing in my life was collecting cards. And that's kind of what has been, festering under the skin most of my whole life. There's still, last time we counted, I think there's a little over 400,000 cards between here and still at my parents' house from 25 years ago.
Wow.
So there's a lot of cards around, and
Yeah.
it's
Quite the
just,
collection there.
yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Quick hello in the chat. I see my man Cliff on comics. What's going on, Cliff?
Hey, Cliff.
Good to see you. He says, yes, enjoying our love for the hobby together. Absolutely.
Sure.
We got my man Ryan, Colossus Collector, in the chat as well. Good to see you, Ryan. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. Joel says, yes, this is a great community, and I'm glad to be a part of this. Could not agree
For
more.
sure.
He said, well said. Don't hate on anyone except those Colossus fans. Those guys are the worst. Not my words, Ryan. Not my words. Yeah, no, like I think, even for this hobby, I've definitely through my time of being part of this community, I definitely recognize there's some people who are, gatekeepers or kind of judge based on, whether someone collects correctly or incorrectly, which I always kind of found odd.
You touched on it a little bit in your video from this week of the Hulk 180 and 181, and then that line that just gets people so angry, and I don't get it. I mean, if you think it's this way or this way, it's okay. I mean,
right.
just whatever. We don't have to have any negative things attached to these books when we look at them. So
it's true. It's very true. Yeah. Ryan says guilty as charged. Joel saying, John, don't make me get my Colossus cosplay and come down there. Oh, there you go. Better watch out. And my man Gore Vidal in the chat. What is going on, Gore? He says, and those Saga fans, hey, stop hating on Saga, Gore. Matt, do you know Gore Vidal? Have you met?
I do not, just in chats.
Okay, yeah. Gore's got a wealth of knowledge. So I think you guys would really hit it off as far as. He's got a great taste in books, except he doesn't like Saga, and I like it. That might be the only difference between the two of us. But no, he's a great guy. Yeah, there you go. And I want 180 and 181. Yeah, I mean, for sure, I wouldn't mind having both books at some point. All right, Matt, we were talking a little bit about Comic Cons. Now I know you are, getting ready and you're excited to go down for Heroes Con coming up. When is that? In like April, May, or what is it?
It's in May something.
Okay, so
I should have looked before I jumped on here.
Okay, no, that's all right. I was telling you backstage how jealous I am. As you got back into this hobby, or actually before that, let's go back. Were you as a kid? Did you ever go to any Comic Cons, or was there any experiences for you?
No, the first any type of Comic Con type thing I ever went to was last March, I believe it was, in Orlando at Collecticon.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So my wife's family, all my in-laws are in Orlando, so we're there every few weeks, and so that's where I get my LCS experience is in Orlando.
Oh, okay.
But so we went down there, and it was just pure stupid luck that I saw Peter Cullen was going to be doing,
Oh,
doing a meet and greet. He hadn't been out as much lately, and hadn't been to Orlando in several years. So I was like, you know what? It's $25. I have
oh,
nothing to do on this Saturday. I'll see you guys whenever I get back. And I went. I got to meet my idol, and that was my first and only con experience up until now. But then at the end of the year, when all these guys go to Terrificon, and then there's all these videos that look like so much fun, and I'm just so jealous. There's no other way to put it. That I don't have that. I want that so bad. I want to have that group of people that that I can look back and I can have the pictures, I can have the experience, and I can have all that. Because when I went to a Collecticon, I was by myself. I didn't talk to anybody. Nobody wanted to talk to me. So I'm just standing there in line, just waiting and waiting for a couple of hours for it to open. Get in line. Nobody wants to talk to you. They're just just turning their shoulders to you. And it's just not what I expected. Now, granted, I didn't care. I was there for one reason, and I got that. I got out. But yeah, and Joel's right. It is real, and it's not going to happen to me this year. Yeah, it's on my list. I can't do it this year because I'm doing Heroes Con this year, but Terrificon will be on my list, and it will probably be next year.
Nice. Yeah, man. Well, I'm excited for you. Like I said, for Heroes Con coming up, and then anything else you go to, it's definitely it gets better and better, especially as you connect with more and more people through the community the way you have.
It sure looks like it.
Yeah. So that's cool. So you did go to the one in Orlando. I haven't been. The only one. I mean, the only one I was aware of really is MegaCon, which is obviously
right.
Yeah,
and Collecticon. It's not really a comic book convention.
It's like
a bunch of a lot of toys. You got the Funko Pops and every other toy that's out. A bunch of Magic cards were there too.
Oh, really? Okay.
I saw maybe 2 vendors that had some books, and there wasn't really anything there. Yeah, Cliff, easily track you down for sure. And anybody else that's out there, I want to track everybody. I know Ryan's going to be down there, so he's going to be stuck with me tracking him down. Ryan visits in June. Yep.
June, yeah. Oh, so that kind of works for me because I won't feel as bad because I have to go to a work event in Vegas that week, so I'm not going to feel as bad.
Oh, boo-hoo, Justin.
Unfortunately, guys, I got to go, back to Vegas. Yeah. So, what was I going to say about that? With you had mentioned with Florida going to, or what were you just saying?
You were saying that the only one that you knew down there in Florida was MegaCon.
Oh yeah. I forget the point I was going with that. Anyway, it'll come back to me. But yeah. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about too, as you started to dive in, I guess was I know your platform, MattInClemson is your handle. Obviously, you use on Instagram. I guess how did you start to come across the YouTube community or Instagram/YouTube, just the community in general? Like,
yeah, it's a super easy trail. I went, like I said, I spent the first 4 or 6 weeks finding things that I just didn't like. My buddy Philip in Louisiana, he sends me this Lunch Money Comics video, and I watched the first one of those, and I was like, I can do this. I could definitely watch this. So I started watching some back episodes of that. And I really like this. Okay, this is my speed. And then one of the episodes he mentioned Brandon of Mon Comics, and I was like, okay, well I'm gonna go. That'll be my second subscription that I go to. And I went in there and I liked a couple of the videos that Brandon had, and I sent him a message, and lo and behold, he sent me a message back, and that started it. And I instantly got connected with him. And then you were on his Big 5 live show, and everybody that he brought in, I thought, okay, I trust Brandon. Everybody that he gets on there, Cliff was on there. I think he was on the episode with you.
Yeah.
And Tessa and and I was like, okay, I'm going to subscribe to all of them, and I haven't been let down at all. It's just a perfect formula, and it worked for me. And basically, I'm letting Brandon do all the work, and whoever he finds that's good enough, and you and Ryan
Right.
I'm just okay. Yep, that's good for me. I'm going to subscribe. Here we go.
Yeah, built that trust and recognizing good taste.
Exactly.
I remember that night. That was a great night. That was the night that Cliff, we all bring 5 books on, and Cliff showed like
Yeah,
like
Cliff,
40 different
Cliff
movies.
just pushed you guys away, and he took it.
We were like, "Hey, run with it, man, run with it." We got my man Side Quest Comics in the chat. What is
Hey,
going
Eric.
on, Eric? He says I can only handle C2E2. Yeah, that's another really good one.
I've heard a
Matt,
lot
if you
about that
ever,
one. Yeah.
if you ever get to throw that on your list, and it's a great way to have an excuse to go out to Chicago, which I happen to I love that city. So, that
Another one of my my things is I've got another buddy here in town that I've been around for 25 years or so. We like to go to baseball stadiums all across the United States anytime we can.
Ooh.
And I need 2 Chicago stadiums off of my list too. So
Yes, that's what I want. I went to Wrigley. Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. Oh, we're gonna have to talk some baseball here in a little bit. That's good to know. It says Brandon and his impeccable taste. Yeah, see,
absolutely.
There you go. Yeah, that's right, Cliff. You have an excuse. Yes, you did not get to share your Terrificon experience, so that was a perfect time for that. Yeah, Wrigley's fantastic. I agree. Definitely, I love it's like very old school, small ballpark kind of vibes. And yeah, I got to hang with Candace when I was in Chicago, so yeah, she's out that way too. So all right, let's I asked you, Matt, earlier if you had a book that meant something special to you that you would want to kind of share and highlight. I know you had a difficult time with this, so however you want to go about this, my friend.
Yeah, so what I did is I actually ditched all of the things that were special to me because we don't have another hour from now to start to let me go through the stack. So I pulled the one with the best story and dug it out. And this is actually from like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And
set you up here.
It is going to be my buddy Ryan Miller.
Oh, nice.
Did a cover for the newest Transformers that was out, number 17, and got him to. He's done a little sketch up there for me. But the funny part of this is, I met Ryan October last year.
Yeah.
When I was in Orlando, there's a big shop called Acme Superstore. Easy for me to say. It's about 25 minutes north of Orlando.
Okay.
And they've got every toy I've ever had from my childhood. It's this place that I've never seen anything like it before, and I loved it. Well, Ryan was doing a signing up there, and it's another one of those days I just happened to be in town, and I saw some little ad that somebody was going up there, and I was like, hey, he's a Transformers artist. I need to go meet this guy. And so I go and talk to him, and he signs. I've got prints hanging up on the wall, even those back there in the back. And he signed those. We talked, and then he's another very nice, polite guy that he can just carry on the conversation. He'll reply to your Instagram messages, and if I ask him questions, he gives me answers. And
I love that.
And that kind of thing. Well, the funny thing with this one is I'd already talked to him when they spilled the beans that he was doing the cover. I was like, hey, I want to order a handful of them directly from you. Let him get the money for it, and just sign one to me and my buddy Philip, and we'll get stuff done. And he never sent them, so the book had been out for a while, and I had to go back to Orlando for work actually this time a few weeks ago, and we're in Acme. We had a break from our conference we were at. Me and Philip ran up to Acme, and I looked, and they had it's an Acme exclusive cover. Sorry, I should have led with that. It's only available at Acme Superstore.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I go in, and they've got this nice display, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I was showing him. I was like, hey, here's the whole display, and I hear this voice behind me that says, hey, I'll sign that for you if you want. And I turn around, and son of a gun, Ryan's standing back there, and he's smiling.
Oh, no way.
I still haven't sent you your books yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, my God.
Right. Well, go ahead and sketch me something while you're at it, if you will. And we settled up on that. But super cool. There's just him, and there's another artist named Livio Raimondelli. I don't know how many of you know who he is. He does all kinds of covers for everything. He's got a lot of super, super cool Transformers cover. You know what? I'm gonna do 2 books.
Yeah, let's see it.
So Livio did another Transformers. I swear I have things other than Transformers and G.I. Joe. It just happens this way. So this is a cover. I should have sent you a prequel for it to start with, but it's only an Optimus cover. And what he did is, Soundwave was one of my other favorites. So he white out all the way down the page to get rid of Optimus, and he drew Soundwave in there.
Holy smokes.
Which was super, super cool. But on top of that, if I can get all the way up here in Soundwave's gun, It says to Matt.
Oh, that's amazing. Holy
So
smokes.
that's pretty
Wow.
cool.
That is
So
wicked, dude. That's a
I
one
mean,
of one right there, man.
yeah, it is. And I don't know why my camera has decided to focus way up there now.
That's all right. It'll adjust, I'm sure.
I'm over here. But anyway, that's what's cool. These guys are they're just people. They're just
Yeah.
nice. They want to talk. They want to be involved. And I don't know. It's just great. I love
Yeah.
it.
Dude, the fact that he was there at the shop and you just hear a voice, I love
Oh,
that.
that just blew my mind. I was completely blown for that.
That is awesome. Hey, quick, a few things here in the chat. My man Dave, Four Corners Comics, hanging out. What's going on, Dave? Hope all is well, my friend. If you guys are not following Dave, check him out. He's always posting some just insane, old school, like Golden Age, Silver Age books. Really, really good stuff. And my man Steve, Hip Hop's and Me in the chat. Team Nerd Herd represent, my dude. Good to see you, Steve. Yeah, man. So yeah, great choice. I don't know if you posted that before on Instagram. If you haven't, you got to share that thing, man.
I don't think that I have. I don't
Man.
know that I've posted much of anything other than, maybe one or two books that I've cleaned and pressed. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, man, you got to show that beauty off, man. That's a cool,
sure.
Like I said, a one of one for sure, and a cool story to go with it. So yeah, I'll have to what was the name of the artist again?
Livio Raimondelli.
Livio. Okay.
Yep. I'll send you his info when we get done.
Yeah. Yeah, please do.
Camera to work a little bit better
again. Get it to readjust. How this is probably a silly question, but and I love Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yes.
Is it well? So before my silly question, is this the first time you're reading anything from Daniel Warren Johnson? Have you read anything prior to that?
No, okay. It is, and I'm learning more of the other things that he's done. I'm not necessarily a Walking Dead kind of person, so I don't know if I would get into that or not, but I'm going to give it a shot because he wrote it, and I'm all for it.
Did he do a recent Walking Dead or?
He was on. Wasn't that something that he did several?
Not the original.
No. I think a couple years ago he was.
Oh, okay.
Or I've got it in my head that he was. I might be.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's definitely. I know him more for just some of his he does a lot of 12-issue miniseries or maxi series, things like that for various things that I've kind of fallen in love with. Matt, I'm going to give you a list later. That's what I'm going to do because he's one of my favorite writers. And shame on me, I actually have not been keeping up with Transformers. It just hasn't really been on my list, but maybe I need to.
I love it. No, yeah. I've caught up on a lot of the old IDW stuff from several years ago, and a lot of it's fine and everything, but this is good. And if anybody out there even has any small interest in G.I. Joe stuff as well, the Energon universe part of G.I. Joe is amazing to me. It's written the way the characters look and that I always wanted them to be growing up. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah. Joel says meeting creators in Artist Alley and at cons in general is the best. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite things. And I think, Matt, for you, we just lost his connection here. I think he's fixing his camera. I totally agree, though, Joel. I mean, that's the game changer. I think, meeting artists and getting that story, that opportunity is just it gives you memories forever. While Matt's adjusting his camera here, let me see what else we got. Yeah, Cliff, we're getting it going. Cliff, we're getting it going. Philip in the chat, what's going on? He goes, need some IT support for that webcam. Let's see. I see him back here. Bring you back in here. Matt, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm having to go to an alternate location here. I am working on it here.
All good.
Trying to get back to where we were.
All good.
There we are.
There he is. There you
go. Yeah, that's Philip. That's my buddy from work there. So.
Oh, nice. Good to see you,
He's
Philip.
giving me a hard time because I need to find a good company that can help me with that.
Yeah, there you go. Gotta love it. Well, very cool. Thanks for sharing that, man. And yeah, that's I think I'm gonna have to take some time and dive into Transformers because I've always heard great things. I love Daniel Warren Johnson. There's really no reason for me not to be reading that book. So
I don't get to recommend things to people very much. I highly recommend the new run of Transformers.
There you go. So you heard it here. I'm all over it then. All right, let's one other question I like to ask before, because I want to get into, I have a feeling we're gonna have there's gonna be a lot of stuff here for the rapid fire segment and the non-comic segment that I like to bring up. So, but before I do that, I always like to ask this question when it comes to new people trying to enter the hobby for the first time, or maybe they're returning and they were in it for years or whatever the case is, and they're just getting back into it. I know a lot of people are just on the outside looking in, or they're just considering, or they're just dipping their toe in the water as far as what to read and all that stuff. Matt, for you, and especially with your journey on comics and where you've been with it, and where you left and you came back and everything else, at this point in your comic book journey, what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody that is newer to comics, just getting into it?
The biggest part that was the most influential with me is to find somebody that isn't opinionated. They can have opinions, obviously, but that you can use for, I don't know, sounding board of your thoughts, that when you read something that you've got somebody that you can reach out to.
Yeah.
That's my buddy in Louisiana, or it's, you guys. And it took me a long time to find all of my comic book friends now, and the people who have transitioned from comic book friends to who are my actual friends. And that is something that just fuels the passion to want to be more embedded in the comic book community. But when you get into it, I think as a rule, a lot of people know a little bit about what they like. And so if you can just find what you like and try everything else, and you don't have to go in every direction, but just try to find at least that one person or that one group. And anybody that I find, I'm bringing them into this community, because there's not a bad card in the deck in here.
Yeah, well said. I think that's a great advice. I mean, I know for anyone here, even people I've asked on this show before, it's like hearing all the cool stories of how they talk about this hobby as just the hobby itself, like just the book side of things, or just the reading or the art side of things. And then when they say they discovered the community aspect of it, it just unfolds in a whole different way. So
Justin,
yeah,
4 or 5 months ago, if you would have told me that I would have any interest whatsoever in the New Mutants, I would have thought you were just insane.
Or Nightwing for that.
There is nothing in my life back then or in the last year and a half, whatever, that made me ever want to pick one up. And then I find Justin and John on this OmniX channel, super excited. Hey, we're going to do New Mutants this year. Oh, okay. And I've sent you and John both messages of, dear Lord, this is costing me so much money because I can't turn them away. I got to get this one. I got to get this one. I got to get this one. And I love it. Now I'm hooked on New Mutants, and
yeah, I love
it. And I never thought I would. So had I not just given it a chance, I would have, I'd have lost out on that.
Amazing. And here's another one that I know that you've been dabbling in Colossus.
You and I think Ryan a little bit talking about Namor. Every time he comes up, I get to smile.
Dude, and I haven't read it yet, but yes, the last issue just came out technically now last Wednesday. I haven't had a chance to dive into it, but I've been waiting for it, so it's definitely high on my to read list here to kind of wrap up. But yeah, we're definitely gonna have to do a discussion on that. I know.
I'm super excited about you and Brandon on the Alien versus Avengers.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah,
that's the day after my birthday, so I told Brandon that's perfect birthday present.
There you go. It's perfect. Yeah, dude, I love to hear that, man. Just, I mean, it's like you said, there's certain things you just never thought you'd be reading, and now you're fully into it. I hope that you continue with the journey that we're on, as far as the Chris Claremont stuff, or even if you get a chance to go back to the beginning of Claremont's X-Men, because that's some of the best of the best. All of it has been.
That's
amazing.
What I'm using all the digital stuff for. Is
oh yeah, perfect.
It's not costing me a penny, and I don't have to store it. I don't have to pay anything. I can just experience it. I can have it. And I heard something. It's been a little while ago, but not that long ago, that said, I wish I could go back to whenever I did this for the first time. And I think their example was seeing the end of Avengers Endgame for the first time. Remember how I felt that first time? Well,
yeah.
So I know how everybody else feels about Invincible and Chris Claremont's run and Kirkman's X-Men run and Avengers run and all these things. And I haven't read them yet. I know they're good, but now I get to go in it knowing I'm going to experience it for the first time, and I get to just drink it in. It's not just
Yeah.
That's just not just stories. It's something that I get to experience for the first time. And I don't know. It sounds weird. It's just
No,
it's a fun experience.
it's 100%. I agree. I've had people, as I was reading stuff and I'm still reading stuff for the first time. I've had people like say they're jealous that I get to experience something for the first time and get, for my first time, and they're like, man, I wish I could have that, that feeling back or that experience or whatever. So yeah, I mean, look, there's so many great, books out there and comics and just so many great things to read. So yeah, it's cool that you've been diving into all of it. I wanted to highlight here. Cliff said, "I'm a little dangerous with opinionated, but I think that I'm a nice person." You are a nice person, Cliff. I think you're a nice person.
Absolutely.
Joel says, "The Omni show is great. Thanks, man.
Yes.
We've been loving it. New Mutants is powerful. Could not agree more." Yes, Candace, agreed.
I agree. It's the first
best
book club I've ever been a part of.
Yeah. It's same. I remember John and I like trying to figure that out, and just like it was during the pandemic. I just made a decision that I was going to start to read Claremont X-Men. I was not an X-Men fan. I was never. I just heard how legendary it was, and at that time I was just in the mood for something legendary. So I'm like, let me start here. I'm just going to read. I'll give it a couple of issues and see. I didn't even start with Giant Size X-Men 1. I accidentally started with 94. I just started because that's where the first issue was, and I didn't even think like, oh, I actually should have read Giant Size X-Men first. So I went back, but that made 94 even that more special to me, because of where it started for me. So and a very underrated book, I will add. But anyways, I was just reading it for the pandemic. John saw I was posting it every morning. I remember sitting at my kitchen table, and we would just it was during the pandemic. I was working from home, but I had extra time, so I was like getting a little more reading done in the morning. And then after a while, he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm into it." He's always loved X-Men, but he was like, "Yeah, I just got this omnibus," and I just ordered it at the same time. It was just such a quick. I'm like, "Oh, we should do like a show or whatever on it," and then we just kind of went with it from there. So that first omnibus, yeah, it really was. So yeah, good times, and I appreciate all the love in the chat. My man Chinmo in the chat as well. What's going on, Chinmo? Chinmo, you gonna be? I think I'm seeing you this weekend. Are you gonna be around this weekend? I know I'll see you. At King Con. I think you'll be there. And yes, the Alien crossover is good, Candace. If you're talking about the Aliens versus Avengers, yeah, and that's all thanks to the writing in that aspect. That's Jonathan Hickman. Him and Asad Ribic are the reasons why I even gave that a shot. I'm not like, I mean, I love Avengers in the sense of, as a comic book fan, but I really haven't read a lot of, specifically Avengers titles before. So that wasn't necessarily the selling point, nor was Alien. It was just those creators. So
Candace, the worst part for me was before I even opened the page it was a $7.99 cover price. And that was the thing that I was like, oh gosh, I don't know, but I'm going to give it a shot. By the end of the book, when I got to the last page, I didn't care what it cost. It was
right. Yep, exactly. When's that? Candace, if you're talking about,
she was talking about the end of or when X-Men were in Australia. That comment right before that, I think.
Oh yeah, for Joel. Oh yeah, my favorite parts when they're in Australia. Nice. Let's see. Four corners. Dave says, "Hey Matt, you have an interesting collecting path. What's the weirdest or most surprising find you've ever come across while collecting comics?" Great question.
I think it's more dumb luck of right when Robert Downey Jr. was announced he was coming back for Doom. I was in Louisiana, and we went to a place about a half hour away from our work, going through a bunch of what would have been dollar bins. We made friends with the owner, and he was giving us long boxes for $40. Anything you cram in, you get it for $40, whatever. And this was on our third or fourth trip out there doing this crazy stuff. And in the back of one of those boxes was one of the I don't remember which box it's in back here, but it was one of the Iron Man Doom covers, not the super expensive stuff at the time, but I mean it was just one of those weird things of there's no way I'll ever be able to afford one of those because everybody's specking on
right.
on all that. So that's it. I don't really have. I mean, I don't get to go a lot of places to get the stuff other than Louisiana or Orlando. And I guess the coolest stuff that I'm finding has really been the people as much or more than the books. I don't have a ton of huge price things, and I'm all right with that. I'm big on autograph stuff. So there's a good bit of signed stuff that's in the cabinets and all over everything in here. But but yeah, that's probably the neatest thing.
Very cool. Very cool. The other thing I was gonna mention here. Oh, Candace said, "I wish I joined you both earlier, but now I'm here." Yeah, better late than never, Candace. You've been getting a lot of all the great stories we've been highlighting. So
Yeah, it was nice on my travels once I first found you guys on the X-Men that I would just go ahead and on my drives I'd go to the old versions, they're the old episodes,
Oh
and
yeah,
that was like my podcast. I couldn't see anything, but just
yeah,
listen to the banter of it all the way on
sure.
an
Oh
hour
gosh, yeah.
drive. That was better than any switching for radio stations that I could come up with. That was great.
That's great. Yeah, some good times. We definitely, we do things a little different now than we did from the very beginning, but it's all been great laughs and funny stories, and so that's really cool. And yeah, Colossus, and now you're one of us. Yes, absolutely. Chimlo says he will be there this weekend. That's awesome, dude. We will definitely be hanging out. So Matt, I want to let's get into some rapid fire here. I got some other questions for you. Some of them are comic book based. Some of them are not. So I'll just kind of throw some curveballs your way, and we'll see where we land. Oh, and quick reminder for everyone hanging out here. Again, Matt's information is in the description below. If you guys are not following him over on Instagram, hit him up. Talk comics with him. If you're watching this on the replay, thanks for taking the time. But make sure you guys are connecting with Matt.
Also, if you guys have somebody that I'm not following that I need to follow, shoot me a message. Let me know. What I'm missing out on.
There you go. Absolutely. So my first question is, I am curious because you're into a lot of different comics already, even just from what we've talked about, and obviously your background and some of the angles there. If you had to pick one character, one comic book based character that's your favorite, who comes to mind for you first?
It's instantly going to be Optimus Prime.
All right.
Just hands down. That's the hard hitting childhood memory, and I can't pick out one character out of G.I. Joe. So the Transformers franchise would be just barely above G.I. Joe. And the G.I. Joe thing really started when I was a kid. My dad was in the Army. He was in infantry. His name's Joe, so he was a general infantryman. So he was G.I. Joe. And that was our sort of communication. And that was
cool.
Me trying to make him think that this is cool of, hey, this is you right here.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's what got me hooked on both of those as a kid.
Okay. Awesome. If you could have one superpower, what would that be?
I want to stop time. I want to freeze time, whether it means I could get to somewhere and not lose that time in between. I drive a lot. I work from home, and I still drive 15,000 miles a year going wherever we're going. And I just lose so much time in there. And I'd like to be able to freeze time.
Love it. Haven't had that answer on the show yet. So yeah, I like it. If you had to name one artist that's one of your favorite artists of all times, one that comes to mind for you, is there anybody?
John Byrne.
Yeah,
John Byrne.
All right.
Wolverine 17 is all over this room.
I noticed that there. Yeah.
Dressed on this new cabinet that just came in last week. That is over here out of sight. That will probably be gracing it, but it is there is no shortage of probably 10 of them that I could lay my hand that aren't in a drawer right now of that cover. So
wow,
that hooked me real early on.
I love it. He's one of my all-time favorites as well. So absolutely love it. My man Biggie Shack in the chat. What is going on, Immortal Biggie Shack? Let's see. All right. So next question. If you had to choose between the since we were talking X-Men before, the original X-Men team or the new X-Men team being the Claremont team, do you have a choice between the two? Or
I'm gonna go with the Claremont team just because that's the one that, in my life, that's sure. My X-Men team.
Love it. That is the correct answer, Matt. What is the last comic book that you read?
It would have been Absolute Batman number 6, I think. I just finished just a couple of minutes ago, or maybe 5.
I got to catch up on that.
Whatever the newest one of those that I have in my hand.
Yeah. Have you been enjoying the series as a whole?
I do. So I'm huge on. I was just talking about this yesterday. I've got my favorites are definitely going to be Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, and then on the other side, I really like Ultimate Spider-Man. as far as all of these new
the new
stories.
storylines.
I'm sort of weeding everything else out after that. I'm interested to see what Absolute Flash and Absolute Green Lantern are going to be.
Yes.
Looking forward to both of those. I never was a huge Martian Manhunter fan, so I didn't get on that one, but I really like the thought process behind it, and Absolute Batman, it has it for me. I enjoy it.
Nice. Yeah. I've read the first couple of issues and I really like what I've read so far. I was planning to just do a trade. I've been buying them anyways, but I'll probably do that now because I heard that this is like kind of the end of at least the first, story arc or whatever. So
yeah, I recommend it, man. It is a fun read, and the art, there's some of the art that
he's unique,
generally
man. His
just
artwork.
stop and gawk at.
Yeah.
But I think it was in the second issue, I just stopped and I didn't finish the rest of the book for the day. It just sat right here. I was reading it on my lunch break, and it just sat right there the rest of the day, and I didn't go past that page until later that day. And it's cool. I like it when something does that.
Absolutely, man. Oh, I'm curious what page, because I did read that one, and I'm trying to think. It's been a little while since I read it, but you'll have to go back and look and see, or show me later which artwork you're talking about. Yeah, I mean the whole thing is it's been fantastic, and I'm newer to that artist. I know he's been around in the industry for a while, and he was actually at New York Comic-Con this past year. And he had a massive line. I mean, he did this. I think this book had definitely, kind of put him back on the map, or what. I don't know. Maybe he was already on the map, but to me, he definitely kind of felt like he came out of nowhere. So it's cool. It's cool that his work's being recognized in that way. My next question is, what's your favorite? I'm gonna say comic book based film or movie. It could be anything that's just based on a comic book character or comic book story arc.
I'm a Marvel movies guy. I mean, there's some of them that people don't like. I'm really easy to impress on movies. I try to find the good part in all of it. If I think it's bad, it's got to be just terrible. But I liked all the Avengers. I sit and watch them over and over and over and over, and they're in the background doing the things, and
love it.
It's just I'm up for all of it. Ryan's putting pressure on me here.
I think because you're dropping that burn. I think this is why we get along so well, Matt, and we're on the same page a lot. I too very much always am trying to find the positive in whatever it is that I'm doing, especially with movies or whatever I'm reading. My mind immediately turns to like, what did I like most about it, even if it was overall not a particularly great film or great movie or whatever. My mind kind of just gravitates towards like, but this part was great. I was cracking up at this part, or I was crying at the, so regardless of whatever, I find myself kind of gravitating towards that thought process.
I realize that everything is not going to be Avengers Endgame.
Right.
I'm okay with that, because if everything was, I wouldn't really appreciate those type of movies or those kinds of scenes, and
it's true,
and they wouldn't be as memorable. And I don't know, I've just always been okay with that. I'm good.
Special for a reason, right? Yeah. My man Gore said, Matt, you might then like the film Cashback, about a guy who develops the power to stop time after breaking up with his girlfriend and immediately regrets it. Nice indie film from the 2000s. Oh, interesting.
I'll take a look at that then.
Yeah, Cashback. I've never heard of that one.
Never heard of it either.
Yeah. Like I said, Gore's another one. He recommends something. It's usually
I will. I'll definitely ride the coattails for a while, Gore, and see if I'm missing on everything.
Let's see. This is out of nowhere, but you had mentioned this earlier, and now that it brought back to my attention, you had said earlier, Matt, that you started to read Hickman's X-Men run. So are you referring to the Krakoan era, like this? Okay, wow. Oh man, I'm so excited for you. Did you just started? Where are you?
I have finished the first 2 trade paperbacks of it, so I don't know what issue number I'm at, but I'm about to start the 3rd trade paperback.
So did you read the 12-issue miniseries of the Powers of X, House of X, Powers of Y, I guess, or Powers of 10, I guess is that?
I did not.
Okay. I would recommend that you go back and read that.
Okay.
I'll try to find it. It's essentially the whole setup of what Hickman had. So you're probably in his first story arc, or sets of story arcs of his of the main X-Men line. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's still amazing. I would recommend. But before you go any further, I'll send you like the whatever it looks like
Okay.
the trade or whatever. But if you have Marvel Unlimited, it's all there. Or if you sign up for that, you'll have
Yeah.
access to all of it. But
Sounds good.
regardless, I'm very excited for you. And if you're liking it already, that's a great that's a great sign. Either way, but Hickman stuff's like some of my. I mean, that part of me getting into the X-Men as I was reading Claremont stuff. There was so much hype about his Krakoan era, and it was already 30 issues in or whatever, and people were really and the art, I was buying up some of the artwork looked cool throughout that time, but I'm like, man, I want to get to that so badly. But there were definitely things that like were referenced of things that you kind of would be helpful to know of their original stories of these characters, where I was like, well, let me at least read through the Byrne stuff all the way, Claremont and Byrne. So I stopped after once I hit 143. I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump ahead to Hickman stuff, even though they're yes, they're two different entities altogether, but he definitely Hickman did his homework, put it that way, and he touched on a lot of stuff. So anyways, I jumped into that and I read all that along with continuing to read the Claremont stuff, and it's some of my favorite stuff ever, and it goes into a lot of things I would recommend. Like there are certain titles I would say are worth continuing to read. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of books in general, but either way, that's very exciting. I meant to say that earlier when you mentioned Hickman X-Men. All right. Are you a pizza or cake guy? Pizza
all day.
Yeah.
And if I would have gotten a lunch break that I wanted today, I was going to have a pizza and a Coke right here next
look
to
at
you to fill in the blanks and not even say a word. I was just going to.
That would have been great. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, well, I was just sharing my love for pizza with you before we started, as far as my comic book normal days for Wednesdays. But that's awesome. Love to hear it. Let's see, scrolling through. If you could travel back in time, talking about stopping time, if you could travel back and buy one comic book off the shelf at cover price that you could bring back to current present day, of course you couldn't sell it, it would just be a book that you took to the grave with you, what would that book be for you?
I would probably pick a Transformers 1 or a G.I. Joe 1 straight off the newsstand. That either one of those. I've got a Transformers #1 up on the wall right now, but I don't have that G.I. Joe #1, and that's kind of what I'm hoping that I can come home with from Heroes Con, I hope.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, you have to keep us updated with that as you go through that. Joel says, if you are into podcasts, check out X Reads, the podcast. Jay and Miles explain the X-Men. Yes, I've come across their stuff before, Joel, and I enjoyed it. That's a good recommendation. X Reads.
And I've always been even not collecting or anything. Once the movies really started coming out, and even the Fantastic Four movies came out, I've always been adjacent to knowing the like public storylines and public knowledge of everything, but all the little details of everything that's in. For the longest time, this isn't pandering to Ryan whatsoever, but when X-Men came out and Colossus was first there, and they're trying to get the kids out of the house, and he instantly changes right then. Colossus was my favorite X-Men. And that just stuck with me, and so I was like, okay, I guess I like X-Men now. And so then I started learning all about it back then, and would always follow it, but I just never had the desire to read, period, much less digital or own it or collect it or anything like that. So that's the biggest thing that's changed, is I love reading these now.
Wow. And speaking of that, and great comment, Joel, do you other than comics, just as a side note, do you read anything else that you read or that you take time to dive into?
Honestly, I've tried to read card magazines and stuff, and I would get to the second page of whatever article I was reading, and my mind's already gone to something else I need to be doing or whatever, and I just never could focus. And I don't think it's an ADHD thing. It's just it didn't catch me. But now, when I'm in these stories, next thing I know, it's been an hour and a half, and I'm still reading this. I really need to go to bed, kind of thing.
That's a great when it can keep you hooked like that, it's great. Yeah. There's Ryan. He's fully supporting you there. Biggie says he'd go back and get an Action 1. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with that. Right. Yeah, that's a good choice too. Cliff says, I wish that dude had toughed it out in the Deadpool movies. Oh yeah. Side quests. Too bad they did them dirty anymore. Yeah. let's talk a little bit about music, because I want to get into sports, but I'm gonna hold it off for just a second. So when it comes to music, what's do you have any like favorite band or artist or something that comes to mind to you that you just absolutely gravitate towards?
I'm all over the place. I think I've
Nice.
sent you random Swedish female lead singer
Oh yeah,
Eileen. I'm fine with headbanging music.
that's right.
I grew up. I was born in '78. My brother's 9 years older than me, so I was a 4 and 5 year old listening to hair metal in 1982, '83 when I was going to
Yes.
school, kindergarten, and stuff like
Love
that.
it.
So I was that weird kid with the blue jean jacket and
Mm.
Metallica buttons and stuff like that. But so I'm good with all of that, all the way to the thing that I probably listen the most to is like Death Cab for Cutie, Silver Sun
Oh
Pickups,
no way, love them.
those guys. That any of that Band of Horses, any of that genre, Guster,
Heck yeah, Bands of
that
Horses is
is
great.
just a big, easy listen, and I can get into it. I can get any kind of work done I need to if I've got that playing. But if it's been a day, man, I'm going to put some Halsey on. I'm going to put some Eileen on.
Yeah,
I'm
nice.
going to make some racket and that kind of thing. So I'm all over the place. There's not much that I don't like. Just give me something with a good beat. That's all I need.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. That's the best way to go about it, man. I'm a strong believer in thinking that there's great music in every genre, and it's just
Yeah.
about taking time to find that great music. And so I never dismiss anything. I'll always give something a try. Recommendations I'm always open towards. So that's really cool. And Death Cab, was it man, when I used to there was a time where I was very serious in playing like professional poker, and I at one point was even ready to like move to Vegas and thought I'd make a run at it,
Note to
kind of
self: don't play cards with Justin.
like yeah, no, I'm not good anymore, but kind of like Rounders. I used to watch that movie Rounders all the time,
Yep.
with Matt Damon. And there was that Death Cab for Cutie. They had the Soul Meets Body
Yep.
album, and that was I remember when that came out. I want to say 2005 or 2006 or
It would have
something.
been 05, 06, something like
Yeah,
that.
right. So yeah, then I was obsessed, and that literally was my poker soundtrack. That whole album, front to back, I would literally just have on repeat. I had a Zune. I didn't even have an
Oh yeah,
iPod.
I
Yeah,
know.
just a Zune. Yeah, and like that
I
just
know that. I know that pain very
yeah.
well.
Yeah, so that's really cool, man. Yeah, and I know, yeah, talked to Mel before. That's yeah, that's
Death
awesome.
Cab is the only one that I have ever chickened out to not go see them in concert. They came to Clemson, the Little John.
Oh,
Wife and I were dating. That would have been probably '04, I guess it was. And I didn't go see them because I didn't want to not like it.
wow,
Because there's a lot of bands that aren't good,
it's true.
and I just don't respect
Right.
them very much after that.
Yeah,
And I
that's
was
fair.
scared that they might be. And now I know I was foolish, and I constantly look for them to come around here, but they stay on the West Coast all the time now, so I don't get to see them.
Yeah, I rarely see him.
But Silver Sun Pickups, they come up to Asheville, which is about an
Nice.
hour and 20 minutes from here up in North Carolina. So it's an easy jump up there and back on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night or something. So I get that fix. And Band of Horses, I just read tonight's coming up here too. So it's
Nice.
pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
And
And
Atlanta's an hour and a half one way.
oh,
Charlotte's an hour and a half another way.
oh yeah.
I can get to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, Tennessee in an hour and a half. So everything is
Oh
really
man, that's a sweet spot then. Yeah, you're able to reach a lot of the great venues and stuff. That's cool. That's really cool.
sure.
Yeah, I've always felt lucky here being and where I'm at in North Jersey, just because I know I could reach out to the city. I could reach out to, Connecticut has some great places, Jersey, South Jersey, Philly, a lot of spots. So yeah, if you can find yourself in a good spot where you can kind of drive out and like you said, hour and a half, that's not bad to do a day trip,
Not at all.
to see a great band. So
Especially me and my buddy, we go see at least 10 Braves games every year. So
oh, nice.
the drive to Atlanta is just close your eyes and wake up when you get to Atlanta kind of thing. So
That's awesome.
very, very common.
Do you have any concerts lined up this year so far?
Supposed to go see, there's a band called Larkin Poe. They just made their name up. It's two blues rocker sisters.
Oh, cool.
We went and saw their first concert for a couple years ago. And then going to go see Dorothy in Atlanta.
Mm.
If anybody
Yeah,
likes
Dorothy.
some good rock music and
Yeah.
like the female front, you need to check out Dorothy if you haven't.
Some catchy tunes for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's badass. I actually I feel like I've seen ads or I've gotten like some I don't know if she came out with an album recently or over last year. So
She's touring with the new album right now.
that's what it is. Okay, yeah. So I definitely had seen that pop up for a little while. That's cool. That was very cool. Yeah. All right, awesome. My wife and I, we were just talking. We just bought tickets to see. Or we're gonna. It's coming up, I think, in the next couple of months. We're going to see Ben Folds.
Oh yeah,
So that'll be my first. I've always loved Ben Folds. Not Ben Folds 5, not the group, but just
right.
him and his solo work. Which I actually was more obsessed with his solo work
So
than the group.
I grew up. My mom, she started playing the piano at our church when she was 12
Oh,
years old,
oh, nice.
and she played the piano for 60 years at
Wow.
the church. So I grew up and I always just heard music, and so I hated piano lessons so bad when I was a kid. She made me take them for 2 years, and all I wanted to do was play drums. And so finally, she let me quit piano, and she taught me how to play the drums,
Oh,
and then
cool.
she taught me how to play the bass. And then she
Wow.
taught me everything that I needed to know about music theory and all these things growing up. So
Whoa.
when anybody would play a piano, Ben Folds, Tori Amos, I didn't care who it was.
Yeah.
That was what I was listening to in 1992 in my freshman year in high school. And, I was going to be this big, I was in chorus too as a kid. So that's what all of my music based stuff was signed up with. So I loved
Wow.
every kind of music. It didn't matter. I mean, I was on stage singing Italian opera in
Yeah,
my
it's
junior
great,
year, and it just ridiculous stuff. And then I get
dude.
back in the truck and put a Metallica or a Green Day or
Right.
insert whatever thing in here and be the crazy guy leaving.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that you can jump from one to the next all within, a
Absolutely.
short period of time. That's a great way to be. That's cool to hear the background with, and as you said, it was your mom that
Yeah,
taught you everything. Yeah.
yeah, it's
So
all her.
that's so cool. Yes. My grandpa was kind of in similar fashion. He could play anything, any instrument, and taught a lot of my dad and a lot of his brothers and sisters. And so it kind of trickled down to where I was getting into it. I never got into, I did take lessons that I just thought I would do. I mean, my mom signed me up, and I was very much a by the ear kind of guy.
That's the same with me.
And yeah, so
Paper gets in the way, and my piano
yeah,
teacher hated me for it so
dude,
bad.
but and I kind of shot myself in the foot because I spent this time to learn, how to read sheet music and play, but anytime that I'd go back, I just remember memorizing how to play songs.
Yep.
And so when I'd come back to my teacher would be like, "Oh, let me," and she'd put the book out in front of me, like, play this song. And I already had it memorized. So I'd play it, and she'd be like, "Okay, I'm going to cover your hands now." She'd take a little notebook and cover my hands, and I could still just play it,
Yeah.
because I just memorized it. But she's like, "Wow, your reading is getting really good." And I back then I'm like, yeah, I snuck this or whatever, but I feel like I really cheated myself because
Oh, mine busted me.
I wish
Mine
I
would
could
just
read
open
it.
it up to this page of the song, play these 2 lines here. I'd be like,
Oh, so you had to be ready.
no, I would say the song doesn't sound good if I do it that way.
Right, yeah. It's better if I start from the beginning. Like, let me just start from here. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So we'll have to jam sometime. I mean, I have my keyboard I put away a little while ago, but it's been a while since I've played anything. And I like that you said you wanted to get into drums, and she taught you drums. And I feel
Yeah.
that for anyone, and you know this now, anyone that can master piano. I mean, drums obviously play such a role, or in piano, or vice versa, as far as the tempo goes and the rhythm in that regard. So when you know one, it certainly helps the other big time.
Yeah, and if you can clap your hands on
Yeah.
time, I
Yeah.
teach you how to play the drums.
Yeah.
So I always tell everybody it's very doable.
And do you play now, or like do you play the drums? Like, did you end up picking that up?
I did for years. I played at
Okay.
multiple churches at the same time. I
Oh,
would go
cool.
to this service and leave and go to this one, and so I was just kind of going around for everywhere. We haven't had a place to put a drum set in forever, so it's been a while. But I have no doubt, with as much as I catch myself drumming on the desk, my feet are always moving. There's something going. So that never ever leaves me. So yeah.
Amazing. I want to highlight some stuff in the chat. Here has been some really good comments. My man Damien Sleepy Reader 666 in the chat. Good to see you, Damien.
Hey,
Hope
Damien.
all is well. Joel says, yeah, he's a Rounders fan. That's one of my. That's a movie I could watch over and over and just quote the Russian mob the entire time while doing it. Joel said, yeah, love the hair metal as a preteen. Check out the Classic Crime Seattle rock that is really modern but classic vibes. Very cool. Very cool. He says, why is New Jersey called the Golden State? Because the petrochemical process plant didn't fit in on the license plate. Yeah, I mean no, you're not wrong there. Biggie Shack says, my girlfriend's going to see Heart and Cheap Trick soon. Oh, that's cool. I did hear Heart is traveling. is touring, and I would love to see Cheap Trick at some point because I've always loved Cheap Trick. Colossus says I wanted to see Metallica this year, but when I saw the prices, I just thought about buying books and say, yeah.
That's been the problem with them for years. When we moved back here to Clemson in 2016, they had just come out with a new album at the time, and I was gonna go check it out, man. But their prices were $180 for nosebleeds.
It's crazy. Yeah, plus like scalping and all that other stuff, like it really can ruin it. I mean, even for like, Lady Gaga tickets or anything else,
I haven't been to a big venue in decades. Everything that I do is just small clubs. It's just I'm fine with the standing room, and we're just dealing with that local club. There's no markup on tickets and stuff. It's great.
That's nice. Eric says he's going to see Shinedown.
Shinedown, excellent.
Yeah. I've never seen them live. That would be cool. That would be cool to see them. Sure. My man, Promiscuous Time Traveler in the chat. Kyle, what's going on, man? Hope all is well.
Okay.
Steve says, he goes, I could play old Chopsticks. Let me tell you. Yeah, dude, hey, we all start somewhere, man. Chopsticks. I remember after I learned it, and my cousins and I would play it all the time. We'd start to like add some like jazz influences in with it, and like really like spunk it up a little bit. So Chopsticks it's great. All right, we got to talk some sports here. So I know you mentioned baseball. Before we get into baseball, is what, or maybe this is the answer to it, but what's like your number one favorite sport, and what is your number one favorite team of that sport, if you have one?
So it'll be baseball. It's always been baseball, and the Braves will be highest up.
All right.
Honestly, I don't hate any team other than the Phillies, and it has nothing to do with the field. It's just the people in the stands. My personal experience with them in life outside of baseball, as well as at spring training and stuff, it just doesn't click with me. So I'm okay if they don't make it. Everybody else, I'm fine. Everybody that I know is an anti-Yankee. I don't mind it. I'm fine.
I thought you were gonna say Yankees when you
the rest of the people. But, it's all good to me. But yeah, it's always been Braves and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I said, I was born in '78. Tampa started in '76. My brother didn't really have a team here that he could call his. So he decided when Tampa was created in 1976, that was going to be his favorite team. And so he was the only Buccaneers fan in Clemson, South Carolina till I came along. And then that was all that I knew. I didn't know there was anybody else I could pull for. I just thought that was my team.
Right.
And so every Monday morning you'd wake up and get the Anderson Independent newspaper and see how Tampa got beat the day before. And that was pretty much my life for most of it until 2000. Well, actually till 99 when we went to NFC Championship game, but 02 finally broke through and won. And it's funny that I've got a little league card that when Tampa won their Super Bowl in 02, everybody kept calling me a bandwagon fan. I was like, no. I have proof because I have a football card of when I played Pee Wee football. And on the back, we got to choose our favorite teams. And Tampa Bay Buccaneers
and you wrote
my favorite team. Now, I have Andre Ware as my favorite pro, so I can't have too much credit given for anything at the time. He had just won the Heisman Trophy when he got that on there.
Okay, yeah. Nice.
Fluffed up my camera again now. So.
That's all. Oh, that's all good. That's very cool, man. To see. I mean, yeah, Braves are a fun team to watch. I do a lot of fantasy baseball, so that's helped me. Oh, do you? Yeah, nice. We just did our draft last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, I guess technically. But that helps me kind of get more familiarized with all the teams and actually have interest, a lot of times.
So what I've done for probably 15 or more years now is I dove in and got really involved with minor league baseball and minor league players. I mean, as far as like low A ball people, and I would basically get those baseball cards and hang on to them, buy, sell, trade, do all that kind of thing. And I ended up selling when we first moved to Louisiana. I sold only baseball cards to buy a 67 or 66 El Camino that I ended up fixing and doing that. So it was all baseball card money, and it was all minor league stuff. So I probably I might have had $1,000 maybe in those cards, and just kept turning and selling them 300 at a time. I get $1,000 for this group, or I get $500 for this group, or that kind of thing. So I like watching minor league baseball and how hard they're working. And
you're still doing that now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't do as many buying and selling on the minor league stuff as I used
Yeah.
to because
You're
I
still aware
put
of
all
it
that
though.
money into comics.
Sure.
But I still follow. I'll read the box scores. I'll do all that. I've been for the last 3 weeks getting prepped for the draft and everything. I'm gonna find out who's doing what and who's gonna
Wow.
be at Double A and Triple A and that kind of stuff. So I like knowing who's coming up. I like knowing the top 100 prospects and all those things so I can be on top of it.
So in the same vein that you said about poker, remind me not to ever get into a fantasy baseball league with you.
Yeah,
That's
it's fun. There's a couple that are like me that are in
yeah.
the league with my church, and then I ended up falling into this ridiculous league that has its own farm team that you
Oh
can
wow.
pick, and then it's a dynasty sort of keeper thing, and
Hmm.
it's pretty deep and it's fun. I enjoy it a lot.
I love it, man. I love it. I had just tried football dynasty for the first time last year. So dynasty to me, I've always been aware of it and just the concept of it, I think is really cool. Obviously, it is a big commitment depending, who you're with and if you have the
Right.
right guys and everything or right team friends. But that yeah. So obviously that helps very much if you know
Yeah.
years in advance. Some of these up and comers. I'm gonna have to pick your brain, man, when it comes to some, especially for me, me being a Yankee fan, like there's guys that I would love, like even like guys like Anthony Volpe right now, like I would
Sure.
love to have had his, rookie cards and stuff early. I mean, it's still, I could still, I guess, buy him right now, obviously for a bit more money, but would be cool to like kind of get ahead of it with some.
I do. I have to basically put out my big flaws for everybody to see too. The one person that I missed on that I said he's not going to be it is Mike Trout.
Oh,
I
really? Wow.
Yeah, he came up and I watched the first couple of games that he played.
Yeah.
He was just lost, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, the bright lights are killing this kid. I just don't think he's got it. And so Mike Trout came up at the same time. A guy named Mike Carp for the Mariners came up, and so I was like, I never thought that Mike Carp was going to be better than this Mike Trout guy. Oh God, was I wrong?
Man, that's kind of brutal. But hey, if you have just the one, that's not too bad. If you've hit on some others, then you're good. Hey, you got the El Camino. Oh, that was another thing. You brought up El Camino. We just saw an El Camino in Baltimore when I was down this past weekend for my sister's wedding, and I had explained to my wife how as a kid, I always, I mean, El Caminos were so cool to me. I always wanted to have an El Camino. So it's just crazy that you brought up you ended up buying a 66 El Camino with
So
that.
our family hasn't not had an El Camino
Wow.
since before I was born. I guess
Really?
some
Always
shape,
had.
form, or fashion. Yeah,
Wow.
we've still got one now in '86,
That's
and
awesome.
they're definitely not for everybody. Everybody doesn't love them, but it's
Sure,
just
sure.
It's another thing. It's part of my childhood. Me and my dad, we built another one,
Yeah.
and so yeah, we keep them around. We like them.
I love it. That's really cool. Very cool. A couple things in the chat here. Eric said, Hawks hockey here. I can't watch slow sports. I mean,
Understood.
yeah, totally get that. Yeah. I just went to a hockey game, first time in a long time to see the Rangers, and definitely a fast sport. I had a blast. I think hockey, I don't pay enough attention to hockey in general, but when I do get an opportunity to go to the games, I will absolutely take it because I know they're always a great time and the fan base is really fun. Candace said that she had gone to the Hawks game for her first Hawks game last year, a little too far up, and we lost, but it was St. Patty's Day game, so that was fun. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like good environment. You're gonna have a good time regardless of the hockey game. Same with baseball. I think baseball's a lot of fun going to see games. Ryan says my team is and has been grossly mismanaged for years, so it's hard to care about it at all.
Yep.
He's the Blue Jays. Yeah.
Yeah, he is watching Vladimir Guerrero just waste away there and not get anything.
Not go anywhere. Yeah, they're just kind of doing the same thing every year. Yeah, there you go. He goes hockey baby. There you go. Yeah, so I'm yeah, totally with you. I love that you go to the games. It'd be cool if we go to a game together sometime, Matt. Next time
Sure.
you're up here, dude, let me know, man. I mean, obviously, love Yankees, but I don't have to necessarily always see them. When I should have clarified before, when I did get the chance to go to Wrigley Field in Chicago, it was not for a Yankee game. I was out there. We were actually out there for C2E2. It was 2022, and my wife and I we just wanted to go experience the baseball field. So we were like, we'll go. And so they were playing the Nationals. And I remember Luke Voigt was recently traded to the Nationals at that time. So
Yeah.
we were, I was still a fan of Luke Voigt as playing for the Yankees, even though he's on another team now. So I was like, all right, I'm going to root for Luke Voigt, while we're here. And sure enough, I think he hit a home run that night. I was like, yeah, my man, still got it. That guy. Not sure where he is right now. I haven't really heard.
He is. I don't think he's anywhere right now. I think he's looking for work right now.
Him and his unbuttoned shirt and his big necklace, big chain necklace, all that stuff.
He's probably sitting right next to Tyler Austin.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Tyler Austin. Dude, I had to say, so Tyler Austin, him and Joe Kelly are one of the biggest reasons that I am into baseball, other than my wife. So my wife is the one that got me into baseball. I was never into baseball before I met her, so it's going on 7+ years. And I just didn't care for baseball. Thought it was the worst sport ever. Just thought it was boring. Just couldn't get into it. And then she comes along. She's a diehard Yankee fan. She's always been a diehard Yankee fan. Her parents grew up with it. She's grew up with it. She's big on New York sports in general. She's a big New York Giants fan as well. And basically, like, straight out the womb was just, a fan of these teams. So it's very much a big thing in her family. And that's one thing I love about it, about her, is that, she has all this fandom and she knows a lot. She knows more than me, with all this stuff. So she gets me into baseball, and she's just playing it in the background, like, which a lot of times we all are. It's just a great thing to have on in the background where you can still do other things around the house or whatever, and watch the big plays when they come. So over time, it was during that series with Joe Kelly and Tyler Austin, where I don't know if you remember this or if you've seen this, but there was a lot of drama going on. Tyler Austin ended up sliding into second base and went heel first or cleat first, and tried to take out, or looked like he tried to take out the shin or whatever of the second baseman. Joe Kelly didn't like it, so he went on the next roundabout. He came out and he pegged Tyler Austin. Tyler Austin charges the mound. And meanwhile, like, Lindsay and I are watching this, and to me, I'm like, I'm totally, wrapped up. I'm like, yeah, like, get him, I'm rooting for Tyler Austin. And I barely know Tyler Austin. Like, I was just like watching it, happened to be on TV. And I told my wife, I'm like, man, baseball's great. and she goes, well, now, hold on, just so you know, because then the bench is cleared, the pitching mount, the pitchers come out and everything else. She goes, just to clarify, this doesn't happen often. This is not, and if anything, it's been really removed from the game even more so now in recent years. But she's like, it really doesn't happen often. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, let's just enjoy this, And then I remember the next day they played again. And I just remember, like, sitting down. I practically could have had popcorn. I was just so excited. And I'm like, man, I can't wait for Joe Kelly and Tyler Austin to go at it. And she's like, no, that's not going to happen. Like, they're not going to do that again tonight. If anything, they both got warned, both teams, and no one's going to do anything. So, but that sold me. And, between that and just actually liking the sport itself. So I really enjoyed it. So anyways, it's funny you bring up guys like Tyler.
I never had Tyler Austin on my bingo card to come up tonight. I met him in 2012.
Oh, did you?
A game down here, and that was my experience with him. It's pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Well, very cool.
Eric's wanting to know about food talk. He missed the pizza and Coke answers.
Yeah, you did.
I sort of blew right past those on the way to where we were going next. Sorry.
No. It's all good. I know we're on hour and a half mark here. Matt, you called it. You knew we were going to go.
Yeah, sorry guys. I told him up front, I was like, Justin's ability to stay on time and my ability to stay on time, I don't think any really exists. So we were going to be in trouble.
All good. I know you mentioned pizza. I guess even other than pizza on a Friday night, you and the family, it's your choice. What do you typically lean towards as far as a preference, whether you go out to eat or stay in and cook or you order out or whatever it is? Like, what's a go-to meal for you guys?
I'm always going to stay home as much as possible. I'm going to make mom's homemade meat lasagna, and that's pretty much it.
Oh, nice.
She can't cook anymore, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll make whatever she wants or whatever, and take it over there to them. And but nice. Yeah, my any night of the week, if I can have some time and about 4 hours, I'm gonna make a heck of a lasagna that night.
Wow. All right. I like it. Are you a drinker at all? Do you have a preference?
No, I'm actually not. I had one sip in 2005.
Wow. Okay.
And it was hard. It was on a cruise ship on our honeymoon, and it was more booze than it was flavor. And I've always, when I was a kid, I realized that I had an addictive personality. I wanted, every watch. I wanted every baseball card. I wanted every car, every this truck, every whatever. And I realized, I probably shouldn't find anything that I like that I can't stop. So
yeah, that's
any drinks and smokes, it just never really appealed to me. Now, let's not talk about how many cases of Diet Dr. Pepper go through this office on a weekly basis or any of that kind of stuff.
There it is.
But yeah, it's I never got into it. I enjoy the heck out of it. One of our good friends that lives next to us owns a brewery in town.
Oh,
and
nice.
I love going down there and hanging out. They got all kinds of different trivia and all that kind of stuff to do, and
Cool.
super cool people. It's a great time. So
nice. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, yeah, man. I always say I like to end the show on the food discussion. So that's all the questions I have for you, man. Matt, it's been a pleasure to get to know you more and to hear your origin story and realize how much more we have in common than I realized, which all the way down to El Camino. So and
I appreciate you having me on. I probably next time I'll figure out a better camera situation.
Oh yeah, no, you're good, man. You're all good. No, it worked out. I saw Joel said, I think Claremont is a fan of baseball because the X-Men played it a lot when he was writing on the books. So that's one thing that really pulled me in on X-Men was when they had those scenes. I think it was X-Men 110 when they're like, it starts out with them playing baseball, and I think like Wolverine slides into Colossus, and there's like big smoke that comes up, and Colossus turns into him into his metal form and all this stuff. So, but that got me into it because it was like, wow, like these heroes are doing something other than just saving the world or whatever, and it was just so personable and fun and relatable, and so I think that is another big reason for me, and liking Claremont's run. So good call there, Joel. Let's see. Yeah, Joel's. Oh, by the way, he's on the Dr. Pepper. He says, thanks, Dave. Appreciate you, man, for sticking with us and hanging out with us. As to all of you in the chat, we really appreciate everybody who's tuned in.
Sure.
Again, Matt, I want to thank you so much for being on the show, for everything you do for the community and just the connections we have and talking comics. I love to do it with you. So I just appreciate you. And again, your links are in the description below if anybody has not already followed Matt. And you heard it, Matt said, if you have any recommendations as far as people he should be following, send it his way. Matt, anything you want to add in here or let people know about, anything that you have coming up or that you wanted to share before we close out?
The only thing the biggest recommendation I can throw out to everybody is, if you don't already know about it, Kate's Comics. She's got a book club that she's associated him with. They're doing a reading with Hush on, I think, March 30th. I think that's that Sunday.
Yeah.
Get in. There's a lot of cool people in there. It's been fun to get to find some people in there and to know that it's I don't know, just another great group of people to get in and have a common interest with. So get in and check on that. I think the next thing that I've got scheduled is just with you and John on New Mutants, but I don't think that's for many more weeks now. So
yep.
So yeah, that's it. So if anybody needs Transformers talk or G.I. Joe talk in their life, or any new comic talk of any kind or whatever, or Braves baseball or whatever,
that's right. He's got it all covered here. Yeah, no, I love it, man. That's great. Thanks, Candace, for the kind words.
Thanks, Candace.
Cliff saying Matt and I have similar addiction issues. Yeah, Eric says love getting to know people I see in the chats all the time. Yeah, for
Same
sure.
Here, Eric. Same here.
For sure. Yeah, appreciate everybody. I will say that I will be back in 2 weeks. So I got another one lined up with my buddy Bruce from Up North Comics. So guys, get ready for that. That'll be 2 Wednesdays from now, and that'll be, of course, at 10 o'clock Eastern. So we'll be back with some more Origins at that time. Otherwise, I already shared all the spiel of all the other good things coming up and things I got going on. So if you missed the beginning, go check that out. Otherwise, smash the like button on your way out. And until next time, we will talk to you later. Oh, I can't find the button here. Here we go. All right, gang. Have a good one. Peace.